As you lead your team through the shadows, your companions will continue to develop and learn new combat skills. Clicking the icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen will open the crew advancement menu. When this icon is highlighted, one or more of your companions is eligible to learn new combat skills. At each advancement level, you may choose one of two possible combat skills for each of your runners to choose wisely. I see. Well, that deserves a hard save. Let's see what we're working with. Alrighty, so Aiga. Aiger gains sniper rifle ability that increases accuracy by 35% for one shot, 2 AP. I don't know if that's really necessary. The sniper rifle is pretty accurate. Gains a shotgun ability that imbalances targets, making them easier to hit on subsequent attacks. Now that... I like her... like, I use the sniper rifle more often than not. But that shotgun, though, this seems very useful. Let me confirm that. Alright, you... Electro Core spell now strips 1 armor. That's the AoE attack, I think. Trains further with thrown weapons, increasing his accuracy. I don't really like his thrown weapons, but we're going to take that. Gains a melee attack, a razor slash followed up by a kick. Pierces 1 armor, may do AP damage. Gains a pistol ability. Firepower round does an additional 2 damage and pierces up to 2 armor. I really don't think I'm going to be using her melee attacks at all, but you know, we'll get there when we get there. That seems pretty good, actually. It's true that I don't have anybody all up in the faces of people. He's a combat medic? That's interesting. Certainly do not want my combat medic all up in the faces of people. If I remember correctly, her melee attack does like 7 damage. It's the same as her pistol. I'm gonna... The only reason I'm considering this is because Razor Specialist 2 actually seems really good. For 2 AP, you can strip, I guess, up to 4 armor. And it's 2 hits. It seems nice. But, yeah. Good dog. I'm good, dog. Alright, before we go to the safe house, grab some new gear. Oh, I acquired this drone. Can you get it up and running again? Yeah, probably. Might take a bit of doing, though. I love working on these old corp drones. Can't make you any guarantees, but either way, it's on the house. I'll leave it in your hands. Start on it right now. See you later. Yeah, hold on a second. What kind of tech you got? Yeah. Show me what you're working with. Alright, so I think it was a Strato 9. But it could be something else. I guess I should wait before I buy that. I'm just gonna sell this stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna sell this stuff. Actually, we'll keep it in the stash. Never know when you might need it, actually. We also have 12 karma. Plus 1 AP? That's crazy. So I'm gonna need intelligence at some point. Oh, I can grab intelligence, combat drone. And maybe pistol? Why did I choose a pistol? Auto reload. That's nice. What do elves get, like max everything? Alright. Oops. We're gonna go that. We're gonna go that. I think I'll save my 2 karma. What's up, Blitz? Blitz looks up at your approach. The table beside him is littered with cigarette butts and a data jack cable dangles from a portable terminal by his side. Hey, Chief, you need something. Any thoughts on that last run that you'd like to share? Well, Chief, I wasn't around for most of it, but you got me out of that hotel, and for that, you've got my eternal thanks. Alright, catch you later. What's up, Dante? You look down to see a pair of bright eyes set into a scruffy face looking back up at you. Dante, Monica's old dog. Looking down into those huge brown eyes, you see intelligence and sadness. Pet Dante. Amsel's expression is harder than you've seen it before. When he speaks, his voice is grim. Iger has told me of Green Winter's death. She said that he died in the same manner Monica did. It wasn't a pretty sight. Amsel nods gravely. I know that you and Iger have had your differences. I will tell you that she was badly shaken by the sight of Winter's body. You also mentioned that you found something in Winter's safe, a package full of very old discs. May I see them? Of course. Good God. Gingerly, Amsel lifts a disc from the bundle and holds it up to the light. Slowly, he begins to turn it in his hand, causing rainbow patterns to shimmer across its surface. I haven't seen one of these since I was a boy. This is a DVD-RW, a data storage medium from the mid-2000s. I'm amazed that Winters was able to find a device that could play it. You know how we can read these things? He puts down the DVD in his hands and quickly inspects the others. First disc that I looked at might be readable. The others are damaged, some severely so. I have my doubts about them. For now, let's concentrate on the undamaged disc. There is a little shop outside the data haven. Talk to the proprietor, Mallet Oily. She might be able to help. Tell her to put the cost of the device on my account. I'm on it. Oh, it's you. Welcome back. What can I do for you? Got that drone fixed? Things take time. I'm making progress. Give me a little bit more time. I'm looking for something that can play back a DVD. Oh, I should have. I should have considered upgrading my pistols. Because I could get a 12 damage pistol instead of a 6 damage pistol. Not going to worry about it right now, but in the future. I'm looking for something that can play a DVD. Really, that is old tech. Very old. In fact, very old, in fact. Just a moment, I will go look. He turns to rummage through a bin of obsolete components at the back of her stall. Ah yes, here we are. The dwarf rustles a mid-sized flat-screen display out of the bin. This display has old enough hookups to connect to a DVD player. RCA, you know. Vintage. Player itself, though, this I do not have. You may wish to try your luck down in the junkyard. There is a scavenger there, a primitive man with a crude disposition. If anyone here in the cruise baser can help you find your DVD player, he can, but he will almost certainly attempt to overcharge you for it. He takes a deep breath and smiles at you. But you're not here for gossip. Shall we conclude our business? I could give you the display for, say, 200 new yen. Put it on Amsel's account. Very well. I'll have it packaged up and delivered to Herr Amsel. Straight away. Best of luck finding your DVD reader. I wish you well. I was like, how do I find where this guy's at? But in the little compass thing, there's a thing. Quick save. A stout old man looks up from whatever old tech he's tinkering with to squint at you through thick, old-fashioned glasses. He pushes them up with an oil-stained finger as he strains up to nod at you. He speaks with a gruff but well-meaning tone, heavily accented with German tonality. Guten Tag, what can I do for you? Mallet tells me you're the man to speak to about DVDs. A little shrew sent you my way, huh? Shroddy's smile broadens. Will wonders never cease? Well, introductions are in order, I suppose. Shroddy, Buckman? At your service. The old man raises a grimy hand in salute. Need something salvaged. Some old components. I don't know what that is. Bailick? I'm indeed your man. Wonderful. How about a DVD player? Well, let's see. I think I've got something that'll work for you. Shroddy rummages through the junk heap on the table behind him. 2 seconds later, he snatches a battered plastic lozenge shape from the pile. What the heck is a lozenge? Lozenge? Here we go. An old Korean player that I dug up last week. 2010 model. A real beauty. Shroddy's smile broadens and he gives you a conspiratorial wink. I fixed her up and got her running, but without any discs to read. I've mostly been using her as a paperweight. Sounds like what I'm looking for. How much do you want for it? Shroddy glances back at the DVD player, a rueful expression on his face. Well, I'll admit, I'm a little loath to part with her. There are plenty of folk out there who'd really appreciate an older player such as this, and I don't know what your intentions are for it. I suppose, given the time and trouble I took putting her back together, that I'd be willing to part with her for, oh, say... Shroddy's eyes dart over your gear, a calculated expression on his face. About 500 new yen? I'm short on cash right now. Could I offer you something in trade? The old man pauses for a moment, considering. I'll tell you what. A few months ago, I had a, well, call it a difference of opinion with that Baruch Ghazi fellow from the soy calf shop. He hasn't let me in his establishment since, and I'd sell my mother for a decent cup of coffee. You get me a cup of Turkish coffee, the real stuff, not that fake junk, and I'll give you the DVD player. Sound like a deal? Alright, deal. All I gotta do is get some coffee. Get some coffee. Go to the cafe right now. The Turk leans into you, keeps his voice low. I have information regarding that matter my people were looking into. Fendom. The one involving the surveillance device on my data tap. I didn't tell you about that. Altug, I've been waiting for my coffee for nearly an hour already. Are you growing the beans out back? Coffee vendor shouts. Can't you see that I'm speaking to an honored guest? You tower of quivering corpulence. Voice lowers again. Now then, as I was saying, we were fortunate that you happened upon that surveillance tap when you did. The people on the other end were planning a very bad thing, to be sure. I did not tell you about that. Very bad thing? Quite bad, yes. Monica Schaefer was an important member of this community. More than most were aware of. This Keys was under her protection. You know how it is in the flux of fandom. The governance of a place like this is tenuous at best. You never know who is going to be in charge from one day to the next. But Monica was a stabilizing force, and not just because she was dangerous. She was smart and funny and wise, and she had a way with people. They wanted to support her, to follow her, because they loved her. When she was killed, it left an opening for others. It would have meant bloodshed and pain if this council had been allowed to continue their plan, but they did not. We saw to it, you and I. Indeed we did, Altug. Cruise Baser will maintain its stability a while longer, thanks to us, my friend. Hey. Now, what can I do for you, Effendum? Would you like some coffee, perhaps? Coffee, as in real coffee, not soy calf? Yes, for individuals of refined taste, I offer genuine bean coffee from my native Turkey. The coffee owner looks you in the eye. The tone of his voice grows low and serious. This is a top-shelf item, my friend, and not for the general public. Only those few discerning connoisseurs can properly appreciate it. Okay, tell me about the Turkish coffee. It is hand-picked by my family in Turkey, a true delicacy of the sixth world. This was considered a luxury even before the awakening, when bean coffee was everywhere. Every street corner, they say. Burak Ghazi leans in close, lowering his voice to a conspiratorial whisper. Long hours in the shop have perfumed his body with the commingled scents of coffee, incense, and applewood tobacco. Trust me, if your coffee experience has been limited to soy calf, you must not deny yourself this opportunity. You will see God. How much? This is a specialty item delivered at some cost. I cannot part with it for less than 500 nuyen a cup. Alright. Very good. Burak Ghazi hands you a ceramic travel cup, which he fills to the brim with dark, steaming liquid. The scent is intoxicating. Is there anything more I can get you? Oh. I don't know. On some instinctive level, he must know that his master is gone. I will pet you. I don't know why you wanted me to talk to you. You still want me to talk to you. I have your coffee for 1/10 of the price. Now this is where I go. You're gonna hand me that DVD player, and you're gonna hand me that thing over there. I'm back for my DVD player. Here's your coffee. Thank you. Shradi gratefully accepts the coffee, then snaps the lid back and inhales deeply, wiggling his mustache as he processes the scent. Yep, that's the real stuff, all right. Shradi gingerly picks up the ancient device from the table and presses it into your hands. The plastic is scuffed and worn, and it rattles a bit when you move it. Give her some good use, okay? Nice. 50 nuyen for a DVD player? Sounds like a steal. Hard save. I don't think I can get anything for 3 karma. Let's see. I need, what, like pistols 4? Maybe I should, Go investigate that. Seems that Amsel has assembled the team in your absence. They stand in a group around the old display that you had Mallet deliver. On their faces, you can see excitement and apprehension, curiosity and dread. Axelrod, have you procured a DVD reader? I have. Good. This should only take me a moment. Amsel disappears behind the ancient display. After a few minutes of fiddling with its battered inputs, he reappears, a satisfied look on his face. Everything appears to be functional. The disc should be ready to play. Well, don't keep us in suspense. Start the darn thing already. Axelrod went to the trouble of fetching everything. Let him do the honors. Amsel steps back, clearing a path for you to access the antique machine. Alright, a soft whirring sound fills the air as the ancient DVD player spins the disc up to speed. The scratched LCD display comes to life and a menu fills the screen. Start from the top. The screen goes black and a cheerful digital chiming sound spills out of the display speakers. A crackle of static fills the air, coupled with a shrill electronic whine. After a few moments, the display goes live, and a disheveled looking man appears on the screen. His eyes glitter with excitement. The timestamp on the screen is 2034. 4 days ago. In 11 years. Hermie, I think we found her. After all this time, Fierschwing, I knew that she wasn't dead. We're fighting a dragon. His speech is jittery. You can hear the urgency in his voice. Oh, this was years ago, I guess. Oh, no, she survived the Dragonfall. Just as I've always said, I knew it, and I was right. The screen explodes into static, and the electronic whine in the background sharpens into a needle-like pulse of high-pitched sound. Somewhere in the background, Dante lets out a low whimper. Screen clears, and the excited face is closer to the screen than it was before. The words spill out of him in a breathless tide. Taking a team into the Sox to retrieve her. The radiation be darned. We will take appropriate precautions, of course, but we must go. Hermie, I think that the body may be nearby as well. Somehow she has survived for all this time. Screen explodes into static again, then clears. The figure flickers across the screen. May not be back for some time. Look after Mom, okay? I worry about her. And Hermie, stay safe out there. I know that things are heating up in Berlin, and I know you. Student protests, civil uprisings. You'll be in the middle of it, I'm sure. Just stay safe, all right? And I'll do my best to do the same. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the Sox, but I do know one thing. If the Firewing is still a danger, I will put an end to her once and for all. The display goes black. Number 2. Screen goes black for a moment. Then a figure appears on the screen, your late client, Green Winters. His elbow is planted on the table that he's seated at, and his chin rests on his palm. The other hand is wrapped around a bottle of cheap whiskey. Timestamp on the video reads 2053. Found the message Adrian left me all those years ago. Got it cleaned up as best I could. Strange hearing his voice again. He pauses to take a long pull on the bottle. It's good to hear him, even if he did insist on calling me Hermie. Dr. Adrian Vauclair, the hero of the people, the Dragon Slayer, my brother. He grimaces and rubs his eyes. Hard to believe it's been almost 20 years. Alright, I'm gonna start recording these DVDs again. For me, for Adrian, for whoever might wind up watching them. Every time I do this, it winds up feeling like a waste of time. but I keep doing it anyway, on the off chance that I'll find something important. If I stumble into the clue that leads me to my brother, I know that I'm gonna want it on film. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, after all. No sense in quitting now. Christ, 20 years. All this time and still no leads. Even with all of my contacts and my resources, it takes another long swallow of cheap liquor. Even with my legendary bullheadedness, I've made no progress at all. I haven't turned up a single gosh darn thing. You want to hear something funny? The closest I've gotten to a clue was a rumor. Apparently a team emerged from the Sox a while back. Nobody's clear on the date, but get this. He leans into the camera and gives a conspiratorial wink. Supposedly they vanished without a trace. He upends the bottle, drains it, slams it back down on the table. His eyes are rimmed with red. Not much of a rumor, considering. I already know that you're gone, big brother. I live with that every day. Abruptly, Winters leans forward and reaches for something off screen. The display goes black. There's a grinding sound from the DVD tray, and Green Winter's image appears on the screen. There is an eager look on his face. Timestamp on the video is 2054. Almost a year later. Stumbled upon this archival footage of Fierschwing's original attack, months before the Dragonfall. Easy to forget how devastating it was. Adrian saved a lot of people by bringing her down. I've got the footage all queued up to play, starting it now. Additional comments to follow. Slow whir of the DVD player shifts to a high-pitched whine. A distorted, wavering image blooms into being. On the screen, a timestamp in the upper right corner of the screen marks the date, July 6, 2012. Oh, okay. It's difficult to make out what you're seeing at first. The scene is dark and smoky, and the telltale flashes of emergency vehicle lights flicker on the periphery of the screen. The camera pushes in, and you make out two figures standing in a ruined landscape. All at once, the sound cuts in. I was wondering how they would go about doing this. Maybe you just had some allergies with those red eyes? Come on, Dante. Come on. You know better than that. Okay, he was just crying. Okay, crying. Again, for those of you just joining us, we are coming to you live from Stolberg. A few hours ago, the Dragon Fierschwing launched an unprovoked attack on this sleepy Harz mountain town, and you can see the results behind me: fire, ashes, and blood. We are joined tonight by a survivor of this latest and most horrifying attack. The reporter turns to face a pale man standing behind him. Sir, I understand that you've been through a terrible ordeal. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us tonight. Camera switches focus to a middle-aged man with a haunted look in his eyes. He stammers out a reply. Yes, of course. If you could, sir, could you please tell the people at home about your experience of the attack? It was horrible, just pure chaos. So many people are dead, people I knew, roasted alive or trampled to death trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family, we have nothing now. You all made it through the attack, though. Your wife, your kids. Yeah, we all made it, thank God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter. Me, my wife, and our 2 daughters. The shelter, it protected us. But the heat was just unbearable. We couldn't have stayed in there much longer than we did. How long were you holed up in there? 3, maybe 4 hours? I don't know. We just stayed inside until the heat died down and the screaming stopped. And what happened after that? When it was over, when the air cooled down, the reporter nods and the man continues, we stepped outside. There was nothing left, just smoldering wreckage and this dense cloud of black, oily smoke. And the stench in the air. God, that smell. It smelled like roasting meat. There's a long pause. From the tortured look on his face, you could tell the man is struggling to decide whether or not to continue speaking. Eventually, he does. My girls, they found what was left of their nanny outside. Her body, what was left of it, was slumped against the shelter door. I keep telling myself that I couldn't hear her pounding to get in, but that isn't true. I could. I just couldn't bring myself to open that door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her, not for anyone. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to speak with us. Yeah. You heard it here, an absolutely chilling account of tonight's attack. Again, the town of Stolberg has been reduced to ash, another victim of the Fire Wing. Stay with us for more up-to-the-minute reporting on Fierschwing's reign of terror. That interview was very much reminiscent of, and you know, this is probably intentional, of, you know, like, you're interviewing someone about a catastrophic attack where like tons of people died. You know, it's like this very sad and there's another word that I want to use, but like, you want to express a lot of sympathy for someone who's in a position like that. And the reporter is just like, yeah, okay, you know, town blew up and stuff like that. What happened next? Oh, you know, like, you killed someone. Okay, you know, like, you know, you had to do what you had to do. Okay, and we're gonna move on to the next story now. You know, it's just like, you know, all he cares about is the story, and then moving on. Green Winter's face reappears on the screen. Okay, it's time for a new approach. Adrian's a complete dead end. That much is pretty clear by now. So I'm gonna do some digging on Fierschwing instead. Let's see where this goes. The DVD player ramps up. This is 2050 foe. It's like a couple weeks after the last one. Well, that was a bust. Little progress on Fierschwing either. Shakes his head. I don't know, it's weird. The information is there, it's just wrong somehow. It's too well laid out, too simple. Real life is messy, and this feels just a little too neat. That's not the only thing that's nagging at me. I'm getting that tingly feeling all up and down the back of my neck again. Feels like I'm being tracked. I'm no Matrix hotshot like Clockwork or Schaefer, but I'm good enough to know when someone's on my scent. Gotta install some new security measures. Can't be too careful. Alright. About 9 days later. Face of Green Winters winks onto the screen. He's seated in the computer. Up to his left, an enormous monitor fills the screen. Voice carries an edge of panic. Oh man, you changed up. Christ, I'm getting too close to something. There is a trail of bodies, and there have been disappearances. Gearbox, Marcian, Peregrine. They've all disappeared within the past few years. Gearbox just went AWOL yesterday, and they were all making the same sorts of inquiries about the Firewing that I've been. There are ghost stories spreading around the Decker community. Stories about Deckers disappearing and then showing up again later, but wrong somehow. Scary stuff, and I'm starting to think that it's true. Blitz leans in to whisper to you. I know the stories he's talking about, Chief. Never really put much stock in them, not until now. Could these rumors be related to what's happening here? Am I being paranoid? Pauses for a moment, as if seriously considering the question. Then he shakes his head and slams his fist on the table. No, I don't think so. Something big is happening here, and I'm right in the middle of it. Iger cuts in. That's a bit of a leap. One other thing. Tolstoy told me a story about a kill team that might be related to all of this. Apparently a Decker named Helibor posted a theory about Fierschwing to the Shadowland BBS about 5 years ago. About an hour later, a mil-spec team showed up in the meat space and cooked her entire apartment with her in it. If what Tolstoy told me was true, Elibor live posted the event. She described her killer, this great big orc with skin grafts. Then the whole thread disappeared, gone without a trace. Leap, Iger Love? Sounds like he's on the right track to me. Iger holds her silence but concedes the point with a small nod. On the screen, Winters pauses. It looks like he's working up to something. Finally, he speaks. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This has gotta be Fierschwing, all of it. Adrian was right about her. She's still alive, and she's out of the socks. She's covering her tracks, working the shadows, preparing to rise again. And that means that I have to find you, Adrian, for everyone's sake. Thankfully, I've got a lead. For the first time in 2 decades, I've got a solid lead. I've backtraced all of the Matrix nodes that Helibor was looking into, back before she got cooked. Whoever's been purging the Matrix didn't think about that, and I found what she's turned up. Winters stabs a few keys on his keyboard, and an image expands to fill the screen of his monitor, a satellite photo of a rural landscape, annotated with GPS data, a set of map coordinates. So now I've got a target, a place to start digging, the Harfeld Manor, conveniently located on an isolated stretch of countryside miles away from prying eyes. Matrix records indicate that some sort of data vault exists beneath the estate, so that's what I need to get into. And this is where we came in. As if on cue, a familiar image winks onto the monitor to Winter's left, Monica. I think I'm going to tap Schaefer for this job. She's got the skills to bypass whatever security they're running out there, and she's gullible enough to take the job in the first place. I'll feed her some line about flux state security, and she'll eat it up with a spoon. I warned her. Amsel's voice is choked with rage. I warned her. On the display, Winter's mouth parts into a broad grin. Time to put plans into motion. By this time tomorrow night, I should have the information that I need. And on the off chance that Schaefer gets taken out, well, that'll tell me something too. Can't make an omelet and all that until then. When you play the 6th track, a small video window appears. You recognize the scene in the window. You are looking at the tattered drapes and nicotine-stained wallpaper of Winter's hotel room at Das Kesselhaus. Timestamp is, I guess, a day later. We're in 2054. There is a blur of motion, and the haggard form of Green Winters lumbers into frame. Suspicions confirmed. Schaefer dead. Christ. Winters reaches a shaking hand off camera. I don't know what that reaches a shaking hand off. Okay, I got it. Okay. A moment later, it returns clutching a cheap plastic drinking glass. Something floating in my face. He gulps something down, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and takes a deep breath. Okay. Back up, slow down, start from the beginning. Winters closes his eyes and makes a visible effort to calm himself. When he speaks again, his voice is steady. Got the call from my contact in the cruise baser. Schaefer killed on the estate run. Matrix security at the estate cooked her brain. Considering Schaefer's skills and experience, on-site IC must have been extreme, even by Berlin standards. Security of that kind costs money, real money. Given the evidence uncovered so far, corporate involvement unlikely. The connection to the fire wing is too strong. Let's come right out and say it. The dragon is what we're dealing with here, and the smart money says that she's coming for me next. Well, I won't go down without a fight. I've still got my contacts, still got my connections, and the flux state can be a heck of a weapon for the man who knows how to manipulate it. Winters takes another long pull from his glasses, grimaces and swallows. Time for me to make my play. Ghost stories or no, missing Deckers or no, I've got to jack into the Matrix and start pulling strings. The countermeasures that I installed earlier should be more than enough to keep me safe for the 20 minutes I'll be in there. Winters drains the rest of the glass, then tosses it back over his shoulder. A moment later, you hear the dull, clattering sound of hard plastic on linoleum. Schaefer's death was tragic. She was a staunch supporter of the F state, but still, all things considered. Winters fishes for something off screen. A moment later, his hand reappearing clutching a data jack cable. Better her than me. He plugs the cable into his head and the screen cuts to static. As your finger nears the eject button, a black screen cuts in over the static. A moment later, Green Winter's haggard face appears. If you're watching this, then I guess they caught up to me. They will be after you too now. Blitz whispers into your ear again, more harshly this time. What the heck is this? Why didn't you warn me about this before I came here? We didn't know, not exactly. Not exactly? I didn't come here to get hunted by a dragon. I'm not even a part of this. You are now, whether you like it or not, so quiet down and stop bothering him. Whoever you are, whatever you think you're after, you need to find Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Not because he's my brother, because if Fierschwing is rising again, he's the only one who can stop her. You've seen what happens to people who get too close to this. I'm dead, and dozens of others have died. You'll be next, unless you can find Adrian. Green cuts back to static. The message is over. The DVD tray slides out of the reader. Well then. It's time to save and mark. Oops. Did I goof that? I goofed that. Oh no. Oh no. Now I have 2 saves and I want to delete one, but I can't delete one.